Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Shooters Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Matt, at PostUp323. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. You can find us on the socials at Shooters Lounge 3. And also, if you're watching it on video, you can click on the QR code in the top corner. It'll take you to all the links for the socials, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts for the latest updates. Tonight's guest, returning guest again, guys. We're having a good run of returning guests. I must be doing something okay because they all agreed to come back. So tonight we're going to be talking Celtics basketball, and who better to have on than Rob Rush. Rob, welcome back to the Shooters Lounge again, dude. It's good to see you.
Thanks, man. It's good to get back on it and chat about it. It's been a while. I think we were talking just before we started. It's probably the playoff prediction pod ahead of last year. I think that was sort of the last time I think I jumped on this pod. I think it's the last time I jumped on any pod, to be honest. I took a little bit of hiatus with everything going on. But it's good to be back, and I'm excited to chat about my Celtics. I can never go too long without chatting about my beloved C's.
There we go. It's the first cap. Anybody's watching on video, he's got the first cap going on. He may have a couple more. Who knows? We'll see how the pod goes.
Come watch it.
Absolutely. More reason to watch it on video as well, guys. So you can see what cap Rob's rocking at the moment. So we're going for a very retro one, I think, at the moment.
I think this is one I actually got in Boston last year. That actually reminds me.
Nice.
I was slightly off topic. It's a year today I flew out to Boston.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Who
did you watch when you went there? Sorry. Who was it against?
So I watched I know the second game I watched was Utah, because that was Svi Mykhailiuk getting his ring. We did his ring ceremony at the start of the game. I was out there for the Lakers game. I was hoping to actually attend it in person, and then this NBA GM by the name of Nico Harrison decided he would trade away Luka Doncic to the Lakers about 3 weeks before the Celtics and Lakers met. So ticket prices quickly rose, and I couldn't do anything. I want to say the first game was Celtics Philadelphia. So and it was a Celtics win. So I'll quite happily, nice. I came out of that trip with a three game win streak. So I'll quite happily. I'm not going to say I'm the lucky charm or anything, but when I attend in person, Celtics are unbeaten. That's all I'm going to say.
It's always saying. Hopefully, you better make it back by April time, mate, and keep that win streak going, dude.
That is the goal. I want to get back out there, but we'll see. We'll see what life has in store before we get back.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, like I said, we're going to be talking Celtics today. So, 40-20 at the moment, Rob. A surprising season for some. Some people thought you were going to, it was going to be, we're going to be down at the depths of the East, losing Tatum, obviously, in the playoffs. Everybody knows that story, in the playoffs, and unfortunately an early exit for you guys. But what were your thoughts kind of going into this season, dude? Where were your kind of expectations at? Was it just kind of just see how it goes? Obviously not having arguably your best player for the season, but you've definitely... you exceeded the win total, I think, already for the start of the year, mate. So what are your thoughts on the season so far, man?
I think I was happy with whatever came out of this season, which sounds very weird to say when you consider it could have been the ultimate, it could have been the absolute worst. Brown could have gone down first game with a season-ending injury, and then you're like, oh, okay, now we're in trouble. I wasn't expecting anything much. I think, we knew the reality that Tatum wasn't going to be around for possibly the entire season. And, I think we all kind of, or like the Celtics fans that I talk to a lot, we all just kind of accepted that this year was going to be a prove it year for like the younger guys in our rotation. Obviously Jaylen Brown was going to be the number one option. And, that was what the NBA media ran with was, finally, Jaylen Brown's been talking about, not in a negative way about I'm better than Tatum, but you guys haven't seen me be a number one option yet. And so the NBA media immediately jumped on his back and went, well, now you are the number one option. What are you going to do about it? The response has been great. I think we started 0-3 and everyone again just jumped on and be like, oh, well, here comes the Celtics tank, top 5 pick and, maybe, get a really good player and we go again next year with Tatum back in and we can, just take a gap year. I think that's what everyone was expecting, just a gap year sort of, a bit like, no offense, but a bit like the Pacers have done. You know, not going to win many games. You know, you're just looking at young guys to see if they can play in the NBA, see if they could be a part of your future, and you know, just kind of move from there. But Joe Mazzulla is an incredible coach. The entire coaching staff deserves a ton of credit for how they've motivated the guys night in, night out to get the job done. And I think everyone's just bought in. Like, everyone's bought into the fact that there are different ways of winning. You know, it's not going to be easy. It is difficult. And you just, you know, so many times down the years, which is weird to say considering I've been a fan of the Celtics since the Jays were literally like in their rookie year and second year. You know, pretty much since 2021, it's been, oh, we'll just leave it to those two. Those two can win us the game. Now it's like, no, everyone else has got to step up the game around them. And yeah, it's just been really nice. You know, narrowly missed the 40-20 rule, which if you're not as a hardcore NBA fan like a few of us are, if you reach 40 wins before 20 losses, you're generally going to be in a very good chance of competing for a title. The Celtics just missed it, but they're now there. I think there's still only 4 teams that have hit 40 wins now on the year. Second in the East behind Detroit, who, again, I don't think anyone has any, you know, concerns that, you know, I think Detroit on paper were always going to be pretty strong this year, and they're taking advantage of the fact the Celtics haven't had the best player. Indiana are out of the picture. The Knicks are the Knicks. Philly aren't really doing anything much. Like, you know, they're taking full advantage of it. But, you know, from a Celtics point of view, I'm so happy with how the season has gone to, you know, we silenced all doubters. You know, we're not having any expectations on us. And I think that's also probably allowed us to play a little bit better in terms of this is the first year in about 3 it's not been championship or bust. Like we've sort of no one expected us to be this good. So maybe that took a bit of weight off the players. I don't know. Maybe the mind is a funny thing. It can play funny tricks on you. But I don't think if any Celtics fan is telling you they're disappointed with their season, I don't think they're a Celtics fan at heart, really. This has been such a good year for us. And yeah, it's just been really enjoyable. I will admit I've not watched as many games this year, partly because of the Tatum injury, but partly because, you know, life has dictated I can't stay up till 3:30 anymore and watch every game like I used to back at uni. But it's still been fun to wake up the next morning, check your box scores, check, you know, the highlight plays from the game before, and see that the Celtics are kind of just carrying on like nothing ever happened, really.
Yeah. I think anybody who said they got Detroit 1 and Boston 2 at the All-Star break, mate, they're just lying, aren't they? Because
I'd give you the 1. I wouldn't give you the 2. I'd give you the 1. I wouldn't give you the 2. I don't think I was expecting maybe best case 7th seed, 8th seed, you know, getting in that play-in like we were back in 21 when Brown got injured with his wrist. You know, I think that was Brad Stevens' last year in coaching. So I was hoping, you know, can we be around 500? Can we, you know, be a scrappy team? Can we be a team that no one wants to see in the play? And if you're the 7th or 8th seed and the Celtics have come up from the 9 to play in that final game to get the 8, can we be a team that you just don't want to face? Because they know, you know, in a 1-game situation, they could turn it on and beat you. So, you know, quite happy that, you know, it's looking like going to be another home advantage in the playoffs, bar getting Detroit. Which wouldn't be to the conference finals anyway. You know, I'm not going to say that too early because, you know, it's quite close up at the top of the East. But overall, this has just been a massive. Is overachieved the right word here? Because that means I'm selling Mazzulla and the coaches short. I think, you know, we've just done better than everyone expected, which I think is kind of It's just something I think the Celtics are very happy with, and I hope most of the fan base are happy with as well.
Well, I think some people have you not even making the play-in, bro, before the season, mate. So I think in that regard, it's definitely overachieving from their point of view.
I think ESPN's preseason ranking had us like finishing as a 13th seed in the East.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got rid of other players as well. Obviously, you didn't just lose Tatum; you'd lost other guys as well. Holiday, Porzingis, Horford. Those kind of guys, you know, them stalwarts, you know, were all gone. So I think people were panicking. It's like this team's going to get out rebounded.
Cornette as well in that big man room. You know, I think I saw something earlier. Actually, I did a little bit of research before this, but guys, you know, Brad Stevens, I think, even said it at the media day ahead of training camp. It was like, we're going to find out who our starting centers are. we're going to find out pretty soon because
Mm.
Horford left to go to Golden State. We had to get rid of Porzingis, I think, for money reasons, and also we just couldn't stay on the floor, as has kind of been the case for him this year as well. Cornette as well, quite deservedly, after being a two-way player down in the G League and also being on minimum contracts, gets the big payday that he deserved out in San Antonio. So that left us with Cater. We picked up Luka Garza in free agency, and you're kind of looking like Cater didn't really have a big role on the championship team, didn't really have a big role last year in the playoffs. Like, again, a guy that drafted, I think, second round to Sacramento, a bunch of two-ways, got waived. Garza's wasn't anything really like inspiring with Minnesota. So that was you're looking there at your obvious weakness of, can you get the Celtics big men? And I think there was a preseason game, and Mazzulla would sub anyone out that didn't get a defensive board. I think that kind of sent the message that if you can't grab a rebound, you ain't playing. So, exactly. Like everything about us at the start of the season was negative. No Tatum. Can Brown be a number one option? What is the center rotation looking like? Is Mazzulla this, like, people again are questioning, this is where Mazzulla really comes out as a coach. Like, he got gifted. People say, he got gifted these rosters and everything. It's like, he's got half our damn roster down now, and he's still coaching his ass off. So I think we can put those questions to bed. He probably should be coach of the year. But overall,
definitely a candidate, Rob, isn't he? Definitely a candidate, bro, for sure.
Just overall happy, man. Just happy to sort of wake up and that if the Celtics have won, then great. It's another tip in the cap of everyone that's playing. And if not, it's like, again, we weren't expected to be here. Like, and this isn't some underdog story of like, Charlotte, who are now in that play-in spot after being at the depths of the East for ages, or anyone like that. But this is like, this ain't, I'm not trying to play the sympathy card here, but it's just like, I think 90% of the Celtics fan base was expecting a down year, a gap year, and for us to not really do anything, not make any noise. And we were just going to develop, Baelish Ironman, Jordan Walsh, and see if they could turn into anything in this league. Not only can they turn into something in this league, they can contribute to a winning team and play regular minutes. Like, that's arguably the most exciting part about this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I looked at the rebounds, mate, and you're sixth in rebounds as a team. So obviously, you're doing it collectively, though. It's not just on one person is it rebounding. It's a team thing, isn't it? Everybody has to contribute.
Everyone's got to grab him.
Everybody, exactly, mate. Yeah, whether you're a point guard or a center or whatever,
if you're playing in Pritchard, you need to be grabbing rebounds.
Absolutely, and and players like you said, we're going to find out what these players are made of, and I think a lot of questions were, can Pritchard be a starting point guard in this league? I think he's shown that obviously he can, hasn't he? And how he's kind of flourished almost to being one of them guys, to being somebody you can rely on in playoffs down the stretch and things like that. And like you say, Cater is definitely he's taken the opportunity, and I think he's shown that he can play minutes. I think he had a big game last night, didn't he, against Philly? So he had like
27
and
27, 17 rebounds, I think 3 assists, 2 blocks and a steal.
I mean, the man's doing work, bro. The man's doing work.
What do you want from your starting center? Like,
that's the dream, isn't it? And like you say, them kind of lower guys. You made a deal, didn't you, at the deadline? You got Vucevic in.
That one I wasn't sold on at the time. I wasn't sold on at the time, but I could get why we did it, because it was the obvious way to jump the tax in terms of
that too. Yeah.
If we made that deal, it made everything else reasonable to sort of jump the tax in terms of trading Josh Minott, trading Xavier Tillman. I think we sent out someone else as well. I know Simons went in the Vucevic deal, but I think maybe one other guy went alongside Minott and Tillman. But the whole Simons to Vucevic was, Vucevic makes about $5 million less. That puts us within like $3 million of ducking the luxury tax.
Yeah, and I quite like what Simons was doing for you guys as well, to be fair, bro. A nice kind of spark off the bench. I was like, I think this guy's.
He bought into it as like, everyone knew that Pritchard was going to jump into the starting lineup and Brown would just slide to the 3 or the 4, depending on who was out there with him.
Yeah.
And so so that role kind of opened up perfectly for him. And again, Simons had the reputation in Portland that he couldn't defend. He was one of the worst defenders in the league, and everyone looked at it for Boston as like, I think everyone at the time, I think we would admit as Celtics fans, it was a salary dump for Drew Holiday. We gave Drew the massive extension after we won the chip, I think, or the year that we won it. And then because Tatum was going to be out this year, it was a case of, right, well, he kind of is the most obvious one that's going. So getting Simons' 1 year expiring for him was kind of like, well, that trims your wage bill, not just this year, but means you're off it after the season's over.
Yeah.
So everyone's looking at, oh yeah, nice 1 year rental. Maybe you flip him at the deadline if he's playing well, but the Celtics aren't, and you can get some capital back for him and stuff. And it says a lot that no fan wanted to see him go. Right?
No, I think quite disappointed, weren't they, mate?
No one wanted him to be traded. Everyone had sort of wrapped their heads around it as like let's keep this guy. Let's keep him for the playoffs and see what happens. But
do you sell him high though while he's playing well, bro? That's the kind of conundrum, isn't it, mate? You know what I mean?
The only thing I feel bad for is that he had to go to Chicago. Why couldn't it have been? He just needed to go somewhere better, man. He needed to
basketball Siberia, bless him.
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, the good thing is, his contract's up at the end of the year. He's an unrestricted free agent. He can go where he wants. But
he can get plenty of reps at Chicago, mate. Just keep shooting, mate.
Oh, have you seen how many guards they've got? Maybe not. They can pretty much put out an entire rotation of just guards. But
mate, I don't know what they're doing at Chicago. It's like the most ridiculous roster I've ever seen. It's just ridiculous.
They're more the Kings. They're more the Kings. Definitely had interesting deadlines. But. It's just it was a shame to see him go, but then it says a lot that he got. I'm not sure if he got a standing. I don't think he got a video, but he got like a very nice reception from the fans because he got Chicago. Funny enough, ended up playing in Boston the following week, following the deadline.
That's right. Yeah.
So he ended up coming straight back, and he got a very nice reception from the fans.
Yeah.
And he said he'd be open to coming back. So who knows what?
I mean, like you say, if he's a free agent in the summer, bro, that. May be a possibility, yeah.
We'll see what happens. But again, it just says a lot that a guy at the start of the season. Again, it's just I think this is the biggest thing for the Celtics is everyone has changed their perception of what people think of them. Everyone doubted at the start of the year that Jaylen Brown couldn't be a number one option. He's proven he can be. Everyone doubted that Nemish Keita couldn't be a starting center in the NBA, arguably a top 10 big man right now in the league with how he's playing. They doubted the coaching staff and the player development program was like, oh, well, you guys just find shooters that can knock down open threes off how the Jays can get double teams and get them looks. Baylor Scheibman, Jordan Walsh, now we're seeing Ron Harper Jr. on a two-way contract, starting to get some good minutes from time to time, and he's making the most of them. Luka Garza as well has been solid, although he's slightly dropped out the rotation now that Vucevic is in. Again, Vucevic, another guy that I don't know the ultimate stats, but he's not being a target defensively, in which he has been in previous years.
The defense has always been a question mark with Vooch, hasn't it?
But he's holding up. He's making an effort. Jordan Walsh. I don't think any Celtics fan would have told you this year that Jordan Walsh will come out of it with a regular spot in the rotation. So to have him sort of, be able to say, no, I can be a starter. I can come off the bench. I can play 15 to 30 minutes a night. I can give you some shooting now. And I think the only two guys that really didn't have many questions were Pritchard and White because everyone sort of knew what they could do. Like you said, the only thing was, would Pritchard be a good starting point guard? And I don't think Celtics fans doubted that for a second. Celtics fans have known what Pritchard's been about. So, the vast majority of the roster had so many questions over it about their identities, as in their specific identities as players, and they've all just they've just turned them inside out and proven everyone quite silly that doubted them. So that's what I think I'm most happy about for this group is that those guys as people have risen to the occasion and have done really well. And I'm excited to see what the rest of the season holds. We're in Milwaukee. We're recording this Monday night. We're in Milwaukee on the second night of a back-to-back. And, it's quite nice to be going into it thinking, we could still win this one. So I'm just so proud of this group. Very proud of this group.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, I mean, at the start of the season, I didn't think it was going to be as bad as some people said, where it was going to be like 13th or something. I thought I could see him like getting like 6th or 7th or something like that. I thought they're going to be maybe just above the play-in because one, people are thinking, oh, they were just going to let the season go. Obviously, don't know who Joe Mazzulla is because the man's an absolute psychopath. Like, this guy ain't going to be losing no games. Like,
Joe Mazzulla is not going a year trying to actively lose.
Absolutely not, mate. And whoever thought that, clearly, I've never seen him on the sidelines, like trying to fight referees and things. Like, this guy is an absolute basketball nut, isn't he? Like, he's not. That's not just how he's built or his mantra is or his mentality. So, and I thought really how wide open the East was going to be as well, because you kind of looked at it and you're like, man, who's going to finish top of the East? I thought it was going to be New York, personally, but after that, I was like, it could be any one of 4 or 5 teams finishing second. Really, it's kind of wide open because, like you say, Boston should have been apparently, out the running. Like you say, Indiana losing Halliburton. And then after that, what Milwaukee were going to do, they're languishing because, with whatever team they're trying to build around Giannis. I think he's back tonight, bro. You'll be glad to know.
Yeah,
he's back for that one.
I've also seen the notification that Jaylen Brown and Cater are out for us.
Out. That's right. Yeah.
I think there's someone else as well that's missing.
I think they said Tatum's definitely out, didn't they? With the Well,
Tatum's already said he's coming if he's going to come back, but I'm sure we'll get onto it later. If he's coming back, he's coming back in front of the home fans. He's not.
It's going to happen at home, innit, bro? That.
It's just Brown. It's Brown and Cater. I love Cater's injury report status. Rest.
Just rest.
It takes me back to when Horford was on the Thunder and they rested him. They shut him down after halfway for being old.
Oh man,
there was no injury. He was just old.
They hadn't even bothered making up an injury, bro. He's resting, bro. He's all right. He was working last night, man. The guy was working. He deserves the rest. But yeah, I just thought Mazzulla too intense to kind of let a season go. I just thought, but I definitely didn't think 2 seed, mate. 2 seed was not on the Shooters Lounge season predictions for the Celtics, bro. So you must be delighted, mate, as a fan, mate, to maybe I didn't know if you were, but kind of maybe a few fans writing the season off, but definitely a pleasant surprise. And sometimes these are the teams that you remember years down the line, going, "Oh man, do you remember that team when Tatum was out?" You kind of like the kind of fan favorite teams that shouldn't have been good, but maybe are a bit better than they should. And you think, oh man, that was really enjoyed watching that team this year.
It probably falls into like the same law that the 15-16 team does with IT.
Yes.
Just before I was a fan, just before Brown got drafted, or maybe the year that Brown got drafted, maybe the 16-17 team is arguably better. Probably better or more accurate, but those sort of teams where there was no real, or there's one superstar, a bunch of good role players around them, but no one was expecting anything, and then just comes out of nowhere. Like we talk, like Josh Minot got traded to Brooklyn at the deadline, was in the G League, actually played against us last night with his first game for Brooklyn since coming back up, but he out the first 12 games, he started 10 of them and looked like a legitimate starter. People won't really forget that. People won't forget that hustle. I don't think people will forget this Baylor Shireman sort of run of games that he's now starting and being a solid contributor, very good defender. Ron Harper Jr., wherever he ends up, people will remember that he played good for us in stints. And, we just had Delano Banton and John Tonje be on a couple 10 days. I don't think they got much action other than sort of like garbage time. But like you say, Luka Garza, I don't know what Luka Garza is going to be doing after the season, but he'll be remembered nicely in Boston. If Vucevic doesn't come back, I think people will appreciate his run down the stretch.
Hugo as well, man. Gonzalez.
Oh man, Brad Stevens. Thank you so much. Hugo has been a fucking lifesaver, honestly. And the fact he's 19 years old, he's on the team control for another 4 years on a very useful contract. Whoever had the 3 or 4 picks before us in the draft last year, thank you for not taking him. Thank you for letting him to fall. I think it's just another lesson to when you see a white guy out of Real Madrid, you probably should draft him.
I mean, not a bad history.
Learn that lesson very quick. Dallas learned the lesson not to trade a white man after being drafted out of Real Madrid, but it's Ugo's been great. Again, no one expected a rookie drafted 28th overall or whatever to instantly be a role player. But this is where Brad Stevens' coaching career in college comes into it, in terms of you have to be able to evaluate talent in college in order to recruit people. And just how he would fit in. And I think he's been overall like net rating since about maybe November, December, Ugo Gonzalez has not dropped out the top 5, or at the very least the top 10. He's been sat in there. That is insane for a rookie. Like, how many other rookies net rating is everything. It's not just your offense; it's all parts of your game. And the guy is already a legit NBA rotational player. And I think he's going to have a very long career in Celtics green. Or I hope so. I hope he's in Celtics green for a very long time.
Very much a Celtics player, I think. And Hugo, I think.
As long as Brad Stevens and Joe Mazzulla are there, I don't think he's going anywhere.
In Brad Stevens, we trust. And it's.
Oh, absolutely, mate. Those two guys. Brad Stevens deserves a lot of credit for what he's done since getting to president of basketball ops, and Joe Mazzulla since taking over for Ime Udoka. I'm not one for hyperbole, but if those two were to sign lifetime contracts to stay in their current positions, I wouldn't be disappointed. I would be quite happy.
Okay. Who knows? That might be next. Who knows, mate? Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. We didn't really mention Derek White. He just kind of gets on with it, doesn't he, bro? Just gets on with his job.
Derek White does what he does. Derek White was one of the players I was least worried about this year, coming into this year. And the guy's not shot the ball well at all. He's still having a career year. Derek White is just Derek White. He just does what he does. He's just not unassuming, because I think that's underselling him, but he's just the banker. He's just the one that is going to play every night. He's going to get you 15 and 7, few rebounds. Guy's averaging, I think he's like in the top 10 for blocks now in the entire league. Everyone in front of him is a big man.
He's averaging 1.5 blocks a game.
Yeah, and he's like top 10 in the league for like total blocks, and the 9, I think he's 10th or 11th or 9th, and everyone in front of him is a big man.
That is
and
ridiculous.
Derek White's like 6'2", 6'3". He's not big by NBA standards. He's not big at all. So he just goes about business. Just does what he does. I think he's the ultimate Joe Mazzulla player. I think he is I think he's the ultimate Joe Mazzulla type player, in terms of a guy who can get scrappy, he can be flashy, but ultimately he's going to put up points, grab rebounds, he's going to take care of the ball, he's going to get you assists, and he's just going to make sure the team is in a good positions to win.
Yeah, he's 9th in blocks, bro. Did you say 9? Yeah,
I said 9th to 11th. Yeah. I think he was 11th before the game against Brooklyn, and then I think he picked up a couple more, so he's jumped it.
He's 9th now. Yeah, like above him, Scotty Barnes, Miles Turner, Rudy Gobert, Beef Stew, Evan Mobley, Jay Huff, Chet Holmgren, and obviously Wemby at the top.
Exactly.
It's impressive, that, bro.
Scotty Barnes is the only other non-big on there, and Scotty Barnes is like 6'8".
And that's like a 12-foot wingspan.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like ridiculous. Yeah, that's impressive, man. I did not know that. That's an amazing stat, isn't it, bro? 1.5 blocks a game. That is no mean feat, bro. That is no mean feat.
Not for a small guard as well. Not for a small guard.
Absolutely. Unbelievable. So, obviously, probably the biggest reason probably for Boston's, great season so far is Jaylen Brown, taking that mantle. People ask the question, Rob, they were asking the questions, can he be the best player on a playoff team or a championship team, or whichever way you want to put it? I think he's definitely answered the doubters. Would you say?
The guy's got a Finals MVP. Like, what are we talking about here?
Well, some people have said he's the worst Finals MVP ever. I mean, I don't know about that, mate. That's definitely incorrect. But
this is a guy that at what, 19, 20 years old, got told by some GMs that he was too smart.
Yes, he did.
How can you be too smart at 19 or 20 years old? Like, I've now seen people trying to bash him by saying the on-off numbers are better when Jaylen Brown is off the court.
Oh my days!
You
really?
do not watch basketball if you are referring to on-off numbers. Like, I don't have his stats. I don't have his averages to hand this year. But if you give him Jayson Tatum's averages for this year, the Celtics don't even cross 25 wins on the year. Like, it's as simple as that.
No.
He should be in the top 5 for MVP. He probably will end up in top 5 for MVP because of the 65 game rule. Jaylen Brown will probably make it. You know, Jokic probably won't. SGA probably won't. Giannis can't. LeBron can't. Wemby, I don't think, will be up there in terms of MVP. Like, I've seen Cade Cunningham is probably up there as well because of the 65 game rule.
Yeah.
You've just seen what Jaylen Brown's been able to do when, and this isn't a negative thing of Tatum being out, but when he is number one with the Jays since post COVID, you know, 2019, 2020 was Tatum's breakout year where he had a torrid stretch in torrid in a good way. He had a torrid stretch in like just before COVID. I think he went on a 2-week span of averaging like 32 and 7. And like everyone was like, whoa, Tatum's arrived. Brown, I think, had just signed an extension before that season started, which he hadn't developed as fast. He'd been a bit flitting around between starting and the bench and whatever. I'm going a long way back here, but the point is that Brown has never been considered the best player on the Celtics. He's never been considered the number one option since it's been very clear that the Jays are the future. It's been 1A and 1B. And again, that's good to be considered 1A and 1B.
Still all right, isn't it, bro?
You speak to everyone. You speak to everyone. There is no doubt about who 1A was. Everyone knew 1A was Tatum and everyone knew 1B was Brown. You've now seen this year when Brown has been number one that he can go to work. And this guy does it he does everything. He playmates now. He can, you know, lead an offense. He can shoot. He can play make. He can rebound. He can defend. The guy his personality is just perfect as well for like leading a group of people, and you know, being able to get guys to follow him. And he's not afraid to call people out. He's not afraid to be called out and lead by example. You know, I think that's the one solace we had as Celtics fans coming into this year, was that Jaylen Brown was going to be leading the team. Is like, all right, we know what character he is. We're all right here. Like, there's not going to be locker room concerns. It's not going to be like a Kyrie Irving situation in his last year where the locker room starts falling on each other and people are calling each other out. Brown was going to hold it down for the group. And so I'm so happy that he's now getting the recognition he deserves. You know, more people, I think, we were at NBC on Sunday night. They all agreed that Brown, I think they had their studio panel. They all agreed that Brown was the front runner for MVP. We'll wait and see how that plays out. Of course, I'll be over the moon for him if he does win it. Like, you know, it's such incredible. And again, to come in a year that no one expected anything of him would be great. And I tell you who the most happy person will be for him, Jayson Tatum. Jayson Tatum will be the most pleased guy in the room if Jaylen Brown wins MVP, like he was when Brown won Finals MVP. Debate that Finals MVP all you want. Tatum has the stat of he led team points, assists, rebounds, and steals or whatever.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Brown won Finals MVP. Whatever, they won a championship. It was always the case of they always got lumped in as they couldn't win a championship together. You had to trade one of them. You were always going to trade Brown because Jayson Tatum's the guy. Then they won the chip together. Then it was like, oh, Tatum can't win Finals MVP. Brown can't win the championship without Tatum. When is the NBA media going to learn that these guys will do whatever you say they can't? At every single turn, they've shown you they can do what you say they cannot do. These guys, I am just, again, thankful to Danny Ainge for, first of all, fleecing the Brooklyn Nets for those 2 picks. Thank you for your service.
You are welcome.
Second of all, drafting those 2 in back-to-back drafts, and that includes a trade down for Tatum in the 2017 draft. And then Brad Stevens and everyone who's worked in the front office and coaching staff for keeping those 2 together. Like, I think quite rightly now those 2 won't play for another franchise, really. Until the day they retire, and then the day they retire, the season after they retire, their numbers will be going up in the rafters. They will never be worn again. Overall, JB's just been great for us. Like, holding the team together, working really closely with Mazzulla. I think there's been stories written by local Boston sports reporters about how they got together, like in the off season, and it was like very clear that for this season to be any sort of success, they had to be in lockstep, and they have been all the way. And he's taken accountability, he's taken leadership. He's always up there in the media after games. He's always praising teammates on the bench, giving them pointers. The guy's just an absolute machine. I'm so happy that he's the one leading the team. The only slight sad thing is that he turns 30. That made my heart sink a little bit. I remember second year JB. I wasn't really a fan of basketball his rookie year, but I remember second year JB is like baby faced. Yeah. He had all the hair on the top of his head, not with a beard, and he's dunking on Giannis and playing carefree and whatnot. And now my guy's turning 30, and I think quite soon. It's time flies when you're having fun, man. But JB, I can't speak high enough of him. I think again, and if any Celtics fan or any basketball fan tells you technically the Celtics are better with Jaylen Brown off the court than on the court, shut up, man. It's point blank not true. You do not watch basketball if that is your opinion.
That's when the analytics go crazy, Rob, isn't it?
Honestly, I'm all for some weird and funky stats to kind of get points and whatnot. But I'm sorry, when it just comes to blatant stuff like that, just get out of my face. I'm not interested. I've not really watched a lot of Celtics games this year, and I can tell you without even watching like a half of basketball that the Celtics are better with Jaylen Brown on the floor than him on the bench. It's just not deniable.
Yeah. And when you start talking about like MVP credentials and things like that, probably finishing in the top 3 is one of them. Also, when you remove that player off that team, how many games is that team going to win without you and things like that? When you start adding them up, you're like, there's a case for Brown, isn't there, bro? I think to be MVP this year.
It all depends on how you view MVP in terms of that was what I think. That's why I think. I mean, I'm not discrediting Jokic here. Jokic is fucking phenomenal, but I think that was the thing that people went with Jokic is that if you take him out of the Denver system, Denver fall apart completely, and they don't. Then so therefore he is the most valuable player to his team, and that's how people, that's how some people will view MVP is that it's the most valuable player to their team. And some people go the other way and view it as who was the best player of the year. I think Jaylen Brown has a case for both.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's definitely got a case of if you take him out, the Celtics fall apart, and he's definitely also got a case for he has just been the best player in basketball this year. The NBA media will do their thing. The thing as well that I love about Jaylen Brown is that he won't let that affect him. He won't be upset if he doesn't win it. He won't, he doesn't care. As Joe Mazzulla quote, I don't care. Nobody cares. Like, Jaylen Brown's not going to get, he's not going to, go into a shell of himself or, not play as well just because he didn't get it on. He should definitely be first team All NBA this year. I don't think that's any question. He will get first team All NBA. And yeah, just super happy for the guy. He deserves everything that's coming his way. And hopefully he can cap it off this year with another really long, deep playoff run. Because again, that'll just further silence the narrative and silence the haters that he's got.
But not having a player like Tatum on your team this year, Rob. That comes with the pressure of it's only me now, and you can't have them off games because if I have an off night, Tatum might have one of them games and it might be okay. That comes with a different kind of pressure now this season, bro. And I think he's really accepted the challenge. And that's what I love about the, Brown's season. I just think all eyes were kind of like, maybe people weren't looking at the Celtics a great deal. But I think Brown individually, people were going, we'll see. We'll see how good you are now kind of thing. And
everyone in the media was questioning it of like, he's a very confident person. And he was sort of saying, and like I say, he's been saying for time, you haven't seen me be the number one option yet. And then everyone, of course, then went to call him out on it. It's like, well, you are the number one option now. How are you going to respond? And Jaylen Brown just said, watch this.
Yeah. And he plays both sides of the ball, bro. He plays both sides of the ball. There are some very good players in this league And I think you could probably name a couple who only play one side of the ball, who average
There's a lot of guys who only play one side of the ball.
Who average very similar offensive stats to what Brown has this year, but he plays both sides of the ball. And for me, I'll vote somebody over who's just an offensive player all day long, mate. For me, if you play both sides of the ball, bro, you're having my vote, mate. Over somebody who doesn't.
That's the thing I'm so happy with is the Jays as a tandem. I don't have to worry about them being defensive liabilities. Yeah. I do not have to worry about them for any second. Like, well, there was one game I think we were playing the Timberwolves before Cat got traded, and there was a game where Tatum got put on him and Tatum shut him down, and that was the game I went, this guy's different. This guy is different if he can lock up a 6'10" center like Cat. So, yeah, again, another reason why I'm so thankful for the Jays. I do not have to worry about them getting picked on defense. If you go picking on them, good luck. It ain't going to end well for you.
No, absolutely not, mate. Absolutely not. So, I mean, 7 more points a game more than he did last year. That obviously he's averaging more shots per game, so it kind of balances out. His rebounding's up to 7.1, which I think is definitely a career high, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so like we said about the rebounding, it's a team effort. Your best player is up there getting 7 rebounds a night. Everyone else is buying in then, aren't they? If your best player's doing it, well, I've got to do it then, Anna, obviously, and that trickles down to the rest of this roster, bro, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's those two again. It's those two, and those two have now come to realize it. And again, I hate to put them together because they've been put together all their careers, but they've accepted it long ago. They were always going to like. It's all well and good, your best players saying we need to do this, but there's a difference between saying something and acting on it. Like you said there is, if your best player can play defense for 24 seconds and grab the rebound and then, willingly give up shots on the other end, there is no excuse for anybody else on the roster not doing their best. And that definitely bleeds down to Shireman, to Walsh, to Ron Harper Jr., to everyone else that's like on the fringes of the roster. Like, you see how the superstars go about their business and you have no excuse to not do it. Like, they've got the money, they've got the accolades. They could take possessions off if they want to. They could take nights off if they wanted to. They don't. These guys, Tatum, I think a couple of years ago had to be told to sit. And he was like, no, I don't want to. I want to go play. And Brad Stevens had to say, no, sit down. Do not play. Like, these guys want to play every game. They want to play every possession. They want to play every minute. They want to score. They want to defend. They want to win. Yep. Like, those two guys to lead your franchise has been so good. And it's just been nice to see Jaylen Brown take that on this year and take it to another level. Like you say, anyone now coming to the Celtics, you didn't have an excuse beforehand. You do not have it. There is never any excuse now going forward as long as he's on the roster. Like, there is no excuse for not giving it 100% every time. So, yeah, again, just another reason why we should, like, us as Celtics fans, should all be so thankful that he's on our roster, and all the years that he was put in trade talks and never went through with it. Like, we got the rewards at the end of it, and we'll continue to see the rewards because of it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And like you said, yeah, 5 assists a game now, which is a career high as well, bro. So that kind of, trusting teammates as well. Like you say, it gives everybody else confidence around. And I think, it was always a thing where, just send him left. Jaylen's got no left. And he seems like he looks very solid from this year. And I think he's developed a nice little post game as well this time as well. I've noticed that a lot more. So just kind of take advantage of matchups and things. And, most of if he's got somebody smaller, put him down on the block and let's go to work kind of thing. He's you could just see the flourish and coming back, what's a weak part of your game, come back the next season, and you can see the work that somebody's put in the off season. They don't just go away and, sit on their arse for so many weeks and not doing anything. You can tell Jaylen's in the lab in the summer and putting things right, and I can improve on this. That's just great to see from a neutral. Anyway, I'm sure
they first said he couldn't shoot. He then came back and learned how to shoot and could shoot. They then said he couldn't dribble. He went away, dribbled, and learned how to dribble and could dribble effectively. They then said he couldn't go left. Man learned how to go left. There was nothing else left in his game that, like, there's nothing else for him to. I'm sure, obviously, they want to get better, they want to get more efficient, blah blah blah. But there is now no weakness in Jaylen Brown's game that you can point out. Like on scouting reports, again, like there's our playoff series against the Heat. When we ran into them every damn year from like 2020 onwards.
Seemed that way, didn't it?
Yeah, it was always, all right, Jaylen Brown gets the ball, send him left. 2023 Game 7, when Tatum sprains his ankle in the first play and Jaylen Brown has to carry, the Heat sent him left, and the game plan for the Celtics fell apart, and Brown vowed to never have that feeling again. There is now, on the scouting report, there is no weakness to Brown's game in terms of, from a defensive point of view, of what you can do.
Yeah.
If you want to play zone, he'll beat the zone. You want to play man-on-man, you want to play box-on-one, you want to double team him. He knows where the open man is. He knows how to get it to him. He can play through a double team. He can get to the rim. He can beat you off the dribble. He can do a step back. He can create his own shot. He can create for others. Like, this guy is now complete as a basketball player. It's now just a case of, will he make the shot or not? Will he make the pass or not? Those are the only questions you've got to have with Jaylen Brown right now. There is no other flaw to his game.
Absolutely. Definitely, he's reaching definitely a prime of his career right now, and I can imagine you're hoping it may long continue, mate. I think carrying on in this season, bro. How far do you think? How far can the Celtics go, bro? How far can they go?
Do I even want to cap it at this point? Like, don't even want to say, I don't think we'll get to final.
The East's wide open, bro, for me. I've said it multiple times on this pod, mate. The East's wide open, mate, for somebody to go on a run and take it. So, yeah, why not?
Exactly. Why not? Like, we'll probably get onto this we'll go on to the next part, but a certain someone could come back. This group is really good already. Like, obviously, none of the guys in the East are going to be easy outs. It never is when you're in the playoffs. But I look at the other teams and I'm like, not back the C's, not back them. Like, and you give me a 7-game series against Detroit, it's going to be a slug. There's going to be injuries. There's probably going to be a few fights and a few technical fouls in there, but maybe a few ejections. I don't know about the season 7. I'd back anyone. I'd back C's against anyone in 7. So, and again, this is why it's nice to not have had expectations for this year. Don't have to worry about it. It's not like I know in previous years where I probably come on and said Celtics have to win this year or there's going to be serious questions. Like, there are no questions this year. It's so nice to just be nice and chilled and like, if we get bounced round 1 in a first round sweep, you probably are looking at going, that's a disappointing end to the year. But no one would be mad at what went before it. Like, it's just we weren't supposed to be here, and that's not an underdog story because a Boston sports team could never be the underdog.
No,
but it's just that for this year, for this isolated NBA season, we were not meant to be where we were, and we are. So, ultimately, I think a deep playoff run is in store. I'm not going to cap it and say conference finals or whatnot. Like. I just want to see what this team can do, and if not, number 0 comes back, then that might change my thinking. But I'm just happy to watch these guys hoop for. I don't think playoffs aren't confirmed yet, but it would take I think us to lose every single game now for the rest of the year for the Celtics to not make. Something's going to go south here. Damn playing. So there will probably be basketball in May and June, in May definitely at TD Garden. And that's, I think, everything that C's fans would have wanted. That would have been amazing for the C's fans to start the year, and that's what we're going to get.
It's not going to be Miami again, is it? Round 1.
I hope not. Although I'd take them quite happily. The way they're playing, the way they've been. Well, to be fair, the Miami, Chicago, and who's the other play in Atlanta? They've been rudely disrupted by a certain Hornets team that have Charles Lee, who was on Joe Mazzulla's staff. Yes. The year that we won the championship, he was Joe Mazzulla's lead assistant. So there's a bit of Celtics influence there as well. Chicago, Miami, Atlanta have had their little play-in trio sort of spoiled really by Charlotte over the last few weeks. So we'll see what happens in terms of who we get in round 1. I hope, just for the sake of it, it's not Miami. I hope it's not. Like, we played enough series against each other. We don't need to like the 2020 to 2022 run of Miami, Boston, and Milwaukee having really good playoff series against each other. We've been there, done that now. Like, let's have some fresh ones, please. Like, I think well, Milwaukee right now are going to be lucky to get to the playoffs. I think Miami would rather. I think Miami would also have someone else rather than Boston, even though it probably end up being Detroit.
yeah. Well, it could be Orlando because Orlando are in there right now. So they're another team. I don't think you'd be too bothered about that. I don't want
Orlando after last year, please. I don't want them after last year.
They got a bit rough, didn't they, last year, man? They got a
little bit, but it's fine. They got bounced anyway. It's fine.
The way they're playing this year, mate, I think I'd be happy if I were you. It's a bit disappointing, Orlando. I think I had Orlando maybe getting in the top 3, but just hasn't gone for them this year.
They've made some swings and it's not really worked, and therefore they are going to hit what the Celtics realized, what the Bucks are now realizing, what the Warriors will come to realize. You can have an expensive team for 1, maybe 2 years, and then you've got to trim it all down. So this is year 1 of Orlando having the expensive team.
Mm-hmm.
They will get next year, and then they're going to have to tear it down because then it becomes way too expensive and way too restricting to build your team out. So we could do a whole separate pod on like the CBA and the second apron and whatnot in its own entirety. I'm not a massive fan of it, but this is what teams over the East and West will have to do. Is that you can, like I say, you're pretty much capped at having a 2-year window. And Orlando tried to capitalize on the East being wide open. Fair play to them. It just hasn't really worked out for them.
No.
Banchero, I think everyone was expecting to be a more efficient jump shooter, and it's not really worked out so far.
No.
I'm not saying that's the main reason. They've always been decimated by injuries and some other, they probably just haven't had the rough of the green for the most part. But like I say, they also swung the big trade for Desmond Bane at the start of the year. Like, they gave up a lot of their future capital to go get him. Like I say, year 1 is probably not going to end up in a championship. So you've got to damn well pray next year is your year to at least get to a conference finals, if not the finals, because you aren't going to be able to run it back after that. Guys are going to have to be shipped.
No, absolutely, mate. Yeah, you're right. Like I say, they've kind of solved with the salary cap. They've solved one problem, but created like 3 more, which I don't know.
And those 3 more problems will soon become 12.
Yeah.
They'll soon become 12, and then it becomes, the front office literally has no other alternative but to strip everything down. And then you really have to decide, in the case of Orlando, is Banchero the guy you want to build around? Is it someone else? Like, these are where your tough decisions come in. And who knows, maybe we get expansion and you get an expansion draft where you can only keep 8 players. Like, you can only protect 8 players from your team. Like, that would be cool. I actually do want to see that. I want to see which players get kept by their teams. I do want to see an expansion draft.
What the hell are OKC going to do? Only 8 players they can hold on to.
I doubt the expansion teams would complain if some OKC, like, still valuable rotation players got left off. Like, we'll pluck those guys. Thank you very much. But yeah, like you said, the East was wide open this year. It still is wide open. No one's taking it. This is why the playoffs will be so much fun on the East side of things. Is that as it sort of has been for the past few years. I think last year everyone sort of knew, right, Oklahoma City's coming out the West. Last year, I think people were still, again, debating who is coming out the East. I don't think anyone had the Pacers coming out the East. Again, it would have been the Celtics, or it would have been Knicks, or it would have been someone else. 2023, again, Miami were in there. Milwaukee were trying to get it working, but like the teams not taking the East like straight up is great fun for neutral fans. The West, less so. Like, you kind of know, right? Okay, you're gonna have to go through OKC, or the Spurs, or the Nuggets. Maybe the Lakers have a fairy tale run left in them before Bron decides he wants to end it in Cleveland.
Oh no.
Lakers ain't good right now. So, this is why we love the NBA. This is why we love sports. It's why I love American sports having this playoff system. I love it. especially NBA. You get a 7-game series to decide it. NFL, I think, and obviously much more physical, but it is just cutthroat. One winner stays on, loser go home. NBA, there are no two better words in sport than Game 7. There are no two better words in sport than a Game 7 when your team's not in it.
For the neutral.
when you can be a neutral fan. I remember what would have been Warriors Kings when Curry set the record and then Tatum beat it 24 hours later. Being able to sit there with my food, my drink, and just watch basketball being played, like teams scrapping out for everything in the Game 7 was chest bliss. That was the first round matchup, by the way, as well. First round matchup going to 7, like Jesus Christ. That was good.
It was a good series, that was, bro. It was a good series. Could have gone either way, but the
Kings wish it went a different way because they've gone down.
The cream rises to the top, mate, and Curry shows why he's Steph Curry. Exactly. She's shown a lot of people. But that was decent, mate. But you mentioned him earlier, mate. There's a lot of rumors going around at the moment regarding this man. Is he going to return this season? Obviously, heartbreak in the playoffs last year with the Achilles injury. There's videos on YouTube. He's documenting his way back. There's a lot of rumors that Rob, it could be this week where Tatum decides to make his comeback for the Celtics this season. What are your thoughts on this, bro? Do you think should he come back this season, or should he maybe, how the team's playing, how Brown's playing, the Celtics? Do you think you should kind of hold off, or are you happy to obviously have a player like Tatum come back as an amazing plus for this late on in the season, surely?
I don't think you could ever underestimate the impact of adding a perennial all-star, all-NBA champion player to your team. Like, I don't think you could ever really question their impact. I think the only thing I would say is, and obviously this is just a fan talking, if Tatum has any doubt in terms of being medically there, and the Celtics have said this, Brad Stevens said this, Joe Mazzulla said this, Tatum said it, if there's any doubt medically, absolutely not. Do this recovery once, do it right, and make sure that he is ready to, and there'll be the ultimate, there'll be the regular stuff. KD had it when he came back from his Achilles. You see it from guys returning from torn ACLs. They won't be playing back-to-backs. There won't be a lot of minutes, like in terms of the first few games. They'll get ramped up and everything. And they'll be looked after in their return to court. Or that's what competent franchises do. Should he come back? As a fan, I wanted Jayson Tatum back on the court after All-Star break. I'd gone too long without it. Like, I need to see a Jayson Tatum step back through again. I need to see him swish it. From the reports out there, it seems like Tatum before All-Star break was hitting the mental part of the rehab of, can I come back? Asking this very question, should he come back? Because again, I think he maybe alluded to it, like, or maybe Shams or whoever's reported about it, is that he sees how well the team is playing. He doesn't want to mess it up. And then Mazzulla came down and shot it down straight away. It was like, he does not have to worry about messing up our team. Any team that has Jayson Tatum in it is going to be better than one that isn't in it. So from that point of view, I'd want to see Jayson Tatum come back. As you alluded to, Bill Simmons today has come out and said that he's claiming that he's heard that it's going to be Friday against Dallas. Bill Simmons isn't exactly the most reputable source. And I think Tatum isn't exactly close with him. So I'm not sure why, or I'm not sure Simmons would have got that from Tatum specifically or his camp or whatnot. There was an interesting little nugget. And again, we're getting into really specifics here, but this is why I love talking on podcasts. When Tatum was eligible for his extension, he was eligible for $315 million.
Yep.
He signed for $314 because he's from St. Louis and the St. Louis area code is 314. Celtics have a home game on the 14th of March because Americans do their dates backwards.
Yeah.
Celtics have a home game on the 14th of March which I believe is against the Wizards. Don't think it's on national TV, but NBC have been doing a documentary with Tatum about his recovery from injury, and NBC have started picking up some Celtics games. Now, a couple of them are just because they are better than what NBC had previously. Like, I think there was a Hawks game they picked up instead of a Celtics Spurs game. I don't think anyone wants to watch the Atlanta Hawks and whoever they were playing over Jaylen Brown and Victor Wembanyama. That's common sense. I'm not buying the Tatum's coming back on that game. I'm not buying that. But NBC have started to pick up a few more games. They are working with Tatum on the documentary. Tatum has said, I think he did a sit down with Noah Dalzell earlier in the year, and he said when he comes back, it will be a home game in front of the fans at TD Garden.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it would make the most sense in terms of the guy is probably the best American player in the NBA when he's healthy. He was the only guy to make All-NBA first team last year that was not a European player. I don't think I'm crazy in saying that. I will quite happily chat anyone. I'm happy to have a conversation about based on this year, obviously he's not played, whatever. But I think when everyone's healthy out of the American guys, I think Tatum is the best player out there. So I think when the whole surgery happened and whatnot, there was talks it was going to be around March time. Now in March, I think realistically, I think it's got to happen by the end of March if it's going to happen this year. Yeah. I think if you leave it any later, you're getting too close to playoffs. And I know Tatum isn't a great playoff performer. You don't want your star player coming back from a torn Achilles into a playoff series. Like, that's just suicide. Yeah. You're asking for a repeat. So I think there's probably about a month window of Tatum coming back to play, which is what we're now in. Mm-hmm. You also don't do a documentary with NBC if you're not planning on coming back.
No. You
certainly don't go and release the episodes 1 to 3 of a 5-part documentary if you're not planning on coming back.
Yeah, so it's all points towards all ramping up, doesn't it, Ro?
He's been in 5-on-5s. He's been with the G League. I think he's hit every physical benchmark. I think whether the Celtics want to officially confirm that or not, probably not. And also the biggest thing was they played the Sixers last night, and Nick Nurse said they were prepping for Tatum. Wow, if opposition coaches are having to prep for Tatum potentially coming back, I think that maybe gives away more than what the Celtics would say. So I do think, ultimately, my gut feeling, I do think he comes back. I think he comes back this month. If I was going to put a date on it, I think it would be the 14th of March. Although I wouldn't be surprised if he chose a National League televised game. I also think if he announces it that he's coming back on a certain date, I would bet a lot of money that some national TV guys are going to be scrambling very quickly to drop whatever game they have to get to TD Garden to host it. I think he comes back into the starting lineup. I think it's the easiest way to sort of get him some minutes, have him in there from the jump. And he knows now he's coming back in a team where he doesn't have to be the lead guy to start with. He can defer to Jaylen Brown. He can defer to Derek White. He can get his feet under him, and he can let the game come to him even more than what he was doing last year. And he can sort of ease himself in that way. And I guarantee you the TD Garden crowd are not going to take it for granted. And that's the other thing. If he announces it's coming back,
it's going to be hot ticket.
Those ticket prices, that motherfucker is going to be sold out.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I know I've waffled on a lot there. If there's any doubt medically, absolutely not. Shelve him. I don't shelve him. Let him work in the off season. Get more repetition in the Achilles. We just don't want a Clay Thompson situation where he does 2 major injuries back to back. But that being said, I don't think there is any physical hurdles now for Tatum to overcome in terms of the benchmarks, the 1-on-1s, 3-on-3s, 5-on-5s. I think he's hitting all of them as from what's out there in the media. I have no insight into this whatsoever. I'm just repeating what's been said on Twitter. So yeah, I think he will come back, and I think it's this month that he comes back. I think it will happen. And therefore, I think Celtics fans should be getting quite excited because, like I say, he can talk about everything he wants in the meet, like, and as rightly should, is like, I'm not complaining. I like in terms of I don't want to rush it, but you don't do everything that we've just talked about if you're not planning on coming back. And also the Celtics social media team, if you're really into this, he's starting to be featured a lot more on the socials. Deuce, who we've not seen all season, Deuce is now starting to get a little bit more airtime.
Yeah.
Like the signs are, coming together, and there's now, a few bits of Celtics Twitter are now getting a little bit antsy. They're now starting like injury report watch of like they're waiting to see if Tatum gets this as questionable. I think you will know if Tatum is getting upgraded to questionable. There'll be something from the media team beforehand or from Tatum himself.
Yeah.
And then once it's announced, the entire conversation will change. And we'll see what happens from there.
Like you said before we started recording, bro, you just hope that Tatum gets to announce it on his own terms rather than it getting spoiled by somebody.
I do not want to see a damn Twitter notification from Sham saying that Jayson Tatum is making his comeback. I want to see a Twitter notification from Jayson Tatum saying Jayson Tatum's coming back.
Yeah.
That's the, I work in sports, and like that's just the one thing is like, that sort of stuff shouldn't be leaked or anything like that. It should be able to come from the athlete on their own terms. So I hope Tatum gets to announce it. I then hope the Celtics media team are on it straight away, which no doubt they will be. Shams or any other NBA insider is like the third person I want to hear this from. Like, I do not want to hear it from, like, I want it. And then again, like the pop in that TD Garden crowd that will be when he gets announced in the starting lineup, when he hits his first shot, when he subs out for the first time.
It's
it's going to be mental. And so that's why I think all of us are kind of really excited to get him to come to see him back. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Ultimately, I think all of us can see the bigger picture of we want this to be a one season thing at most. We don't want it to be something that develops later down the line into a recurring issue. We want this to be, if he's got to miss a season, keep it at one season, and we can work with it the next one. So like I say, ultimately, I think it happens sometime this month, probably in the next couple of weeks. And I think if it doesn't happen by the end of March, I don't think it happens at all.
Yeah, like you say, bro, I think if it's going to happen, it's got to be now, because to get him ramped up, ready, especially for playoff basketball. We know how much more intense playoff basketball is. Minutes go up,
rotations are shortened.
It's all kind of encompassed with each other, isn't it? And like you say, what they're going to start him with minutes wise when he comes back. Is it going to be 15? Is it going to be less? Is it going to be more? I think it's going to be a day-to-day thing, bro, isn't it?
I think again, personally, I think he'd be capped at 22. I think he would play max 5-minute stints, probably at the start of every quarter. Probably just the first 5 minutes, then subbed out. I give him the extra 2 minutes because it's Jayson Tatum. Like, he's going to be pushing to play, and
that's going to be the thing. Mazzulla telling him, "You're gonna have to sit, bro. We're done for today."
Tatum's gonna have to act bodyguard and like manhandle him to sit down on the bench.
And like you say, he's got to listen to his body now, hasn't he? If you, I think, can you imagine, mate? When he gets out there, them first 5 minutes, he's going to be blowing into you anyway. Because, it just getting back and his adrenaline and the crowd's up. And, the
adrenaline will get him through the adrenaline will get him through that first 2-3 minutes. And then those last 2 minutes, he's going to be blown out his arse.
Coach, I need help, mate. Get me out. I'm done. I'm done for a bit. I need a rest.
Just excited to this is again the thing of we can have, and he said it himself, the fact that we can have conversations about him coming back is a testament to him and his rehab, and also a testament to how good the Celtics have been. Again, like I said in the first bit of this podcast, if the Celtics are shit, there's no question Tatum doesn't come back. You immediately shut it all down and no need to rush. We're quite happy.
We're good.
We'll take a draft pick. We'll take maybe a top 6 pick, and we don't have to worry about you. But the fact that the Celtics have been so good, and B, Tatum's worked so hard,
is changes everything, doesn't it?
It's nice to be able to, we can have the conversations of well, should he come back? Imagine having that luxury of deciding
It's
whether
all right,
a 5-time All NBA first teamer should come back. Like, not everyone has the same sort of.
What a terrible problem to have, bro, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, exactly. So yeah, we'll see what happens with it.
Yeah, I think it's as a neutral, mate, that having Tatum in playing is better for the whole league in general, mate, because he's a great player to watch, and again another player who plays both ends, and I can appreciate somebody like that. So to have him playing again is always a good thing for neutral, mate, for sure, and even more so as you being a Celtics fan, to see him back is a fantastic thing, but. It's just proceed with caution now, isn't it? Like you say, you can do everything right, and to be that strict in your rehab. But I think Tatum's got that temperament, anti, where he would have been really stringent with himself. And I don't know if you've watched them YouTube videos that he's been putting out about his rehabbing and stuff. And and he was really low at the start when he did the injury. It was like, this is my lowest point in my playing career. He, talking about whether he's ever going to play again and things like that. It got, he was really low at that point, and you kind of got to build yourself back up again, everything into confidence, having confidence in your own body as well to go and to take that first step and to explode. I can imagine that takes a while to gain that back, bro. It's like when people have these ACL injuries, to jump again and really go for it. Yeah. It must be to really trust your body again and think, oh man, if I really go full go here, it's going to go again. And that fear, you've got to get rid of that, haven't you?
Yeah.
To get going again.
And that's the thing that I think us as fans take for granted, or those who haven't had major injuries like a torn ACL, like a torn Achilles, who haven't had to go through the rehab process. Like, if for fans, it's easy on the outside for us to just go, well, everyone else has recovered, like in terms of professional sports, everyone else has recovered from a torn Achilles and come back and played. But you're obviously not taking into account what they feel in that moment of, imagine Kevin Durant probably had the same exact feeling when he tore his Achilles while playing for Golden State. Like, will he ever play again? Will he ever get back to being Kevin Durant again? Sure. I've not seen the documentaries yet. I've seen like little clips and the snippets and the previews and what people have clipped up from them and like reposted and sort of given their own opinion on. One of the things I really loved was one of the doctors, I think it may have been his surgeon, came out and said there's no reason why he shouldn't make like a full recovery and get back to being Jayson Tatum. And he said, Tatum said something like, I'm not coming back to be a bench player. Like, I'm not coming back to be a role player or something. Yeah, I'm coming back to be Jayson Tatum. Like, and normally that could be a reason why you do delay it and it do be a full season out of. Right, if we are serious about getting Jayson Tatum back at what Jayson Tatum is, which is a perennial 30-point a game scorer, 7+ rebounds and 5+ assists on good shooting splits and great defense, then if a full year from the injury, the surgery, and a full off season and a full training camp of actually doing basketball stuff and not rehab. If that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. Like, it would be disappointing, sure, but we need Jayson Tatum back at Jayson Tatum levels. It's also, he's not been someone who's always been that open to like stuff like that. Definitely during like his first few years in the league, he wasn't really that keen on stuff, and then he sort of opened up a little bit. Obviously, he was on starting 5, and they caught the really nice bit of him winning the trophy. Also, again, I've not really had a chance to say it, but if you went at Netflix and Tatum for that, piss off, respectfully. The guy has just won an NBA championship with his son there, like running straight to him. This is everything the guy's worked towards. Imagine you've just won something or done something that you've worked your whole life towards, and then everyone else tells you to piss off and that you're being corny and whatnot. Yeah, you wouldn't give a flying toss about it. Like, you've completed your life goal. Jayson Tatum's an NBA champion and 2-time Olympic gold medalist. For 99% of us, that's 2 more Olympic gold medals and 1 more NBA championship than we'll ever see. Like,
for sure, mate. For sure.
The guy's achieved so much. It's It's that's been the really cool part to sort of see again as someone who's been a massive fan from sort of his rookie year, Brown's second year, to see how they've grown and now will lead the Celtics until the day they retire. It's been really great to see, and hopefully that he does come back. And the injury, obviously, there will be the effects of, I think, if you listen to some of the sports doctors and stuff, probably 70 to 80% first full year of after the injury and surgery and stuff is probably where they're likely to, you're not going to see them at 100% straight away. If I saw him 100% straight away, I'd be worried of what the hell's going on here? Did he actually tear his Achilles or what?
But you get drug tested straight away. I know that.
Exactly. But the fact that it's 70 to 80%, but he's been relatively injury free beforehand. He's been in really good shape. He's the right side of 30 to have this sort of injury. And normally, I mentioned Kevin Durant earlier. Kevin Durant was the wrong side of 30 when he had his torn Achilles. And no matter what you may think of him for having Twitter burners or whatever, the guy has still been Kevin Durant since he came back from a torn Achilles. He is still that guy. So, it gives me hope that Tatum can come back and still be Jayson Tatum. So, yeah, it's just nice, like I say, it's just nice to have the sort of questions of will he come back? Should he come back? Again, it's testament to how good the Celtics have been.
Yeah, it's going to be the ESPN first take whether Brown hopes that Tatum comes back or not, because they don't like each other.
I can already see the Stephen A. Smith headline of. I mean, he's already said he's flip flopped multiple times this year.
I mean, every week, mate. Every week, every day.
Tatum should come back. Tatum shouldn't come back. Tatum should come back. Tatum, take your time, bro. This is ESPN's best paid analyst. Journalist
gets paid a lot of money, mate, to do what he does, bro.
Bro, I could make more money than him if I had the same opportunities. The guy just chats out of his backside 99% of the time.
Quit listening to that and come check out the Shooters Lounge, guys.
The guy gets paid $50 million a year to just chat rubbish. And says
we do it for free, bro.
And then says he's going to go into politics. Jesus Christ!
Jeez.
But yeah, it's why like you say, CBS have been pretty. They're obviously doing the doc with him. Most other shows have also been they've taken the sensible route with it in terms of, again, we talked about this before we came on, but Amazon's new coverage has been really good of the NBA in terms of getting the right balance between actually breaking down the game and, having a bit of fun. And most reports have been quite respectful of Tatum. There's just the minority ruining it for the majority, but it's also American media is a completely different ball game to British media in terms of sports stars. We obviously our media reports on our sports stars in a very different way, but the American media and American sports stars are another level entirely.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah, that's like you say, on a whole other level, aren't they? It's definitely
it's not even. It's a whole different stratosphere. But and exactly, I can see the segments already of Tatum coming back. I can see the first take segment the day after Tatum makes his return, and they go, "Well, he didn't look like Jayson Tatum to me." Shut up, man. The guy's been off a torn Achilles.
Yeah,
you tore your Achilles and tried to do that. You tear your Achilles again.
Well, he was 1 for 7. He was 1 for 7. I mean, should he have waited another week?
The guy impacts winning. The guy wins. That's all he does. The guy wins. That's all he does.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet against the Jayson Tatum in Game 6. He's usually pretty dialed in for them games, bro.
Yeah, Game 6 on the road, you've got a lot to worry about.
Oh, absolutely. Beware, mate.
If you've got Game 6 at home against Boston, you better fucking win it, because if you let that go to Game 7 and it comes back home, Tatum ain't letting you off.
He's won more than he's lost.
Yeah, exactly. Sure, we also have James Harden to thank for absolutely, just killing the Sixers season that year. Bro torched us with 2 40 pieces in the first 2 games of the series and then averaged 20. and did 9 points.
And then disappeared.
It just brings back that Dallas Mavericks like commentator video. Honestly, when again we're getting but when Harden got traded to Cleveland, that video resurfaced on my Twitter timeline, and I probably sat there and watched it for about 10 minutes. There was nothing he said there that isn't true as anything that's been said. The guy hit the nail on the head.
I mean, Cleveland fans are going to find out this year what the James Harden experience is like, mate.
Playoff experience. Or it's like
great. It's great in the regular season, mate. It's great.
I've seen NBA Twitter, which is great in itself, being like, "Oh, Cleveland fans enjoying the James Harden honeymoon experience. He first joins the team, he looks fucking incredible, and then he gets to the playoffs. Like, yeah, this is the real James Harden. This is the real James Harden. I hope you enjoy. He's also got an injury right now, so Cleveland fans have got the full scale of the James Harden experience.
Backs against the wall playoffs. I wouldn't be relying.
I'd quite happily have Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown over James Harden. I'll just tell you that.
Donovan Mitchell's going to realise soon.
And again, Cleveland are in the same situation it talks about with Orlando, apart from they are in year 2 of being an expensive roster for 2 years. They are going to have to tear it all down this summer. Like, I think Harden's contract's up. Or he's got.
I think that's why they did it, really. Maybe get rid of Garland, who was injured all the time, and get that flexibility of Harden then. Yeah.
I think, or like maybe I don't think Harden has a player option, but I don't think like next year there's only like a certain amount of guaranteed money on it, so they could rework his contract or something. But again, Cleveland in the East, sort of like again, I think people are probably going to put them at the top as like, well, they're going to run their core back, and they don't have Boston to deal with, and Indiana aren't going to be a threat anymore. Like, and again, another one that sort of just haven't been able to really make it work out for them this year. So.
No, they've struggled at the start, bro. They've done well the last 20, 25 games, but before that, they were really struggling offensively and defensively. But I think they've turned it around a little bit recently. I mean, Mitchell's been playing brilliant, to be fair. But I mean, like you said, it should have been them really at the top of the East, but like they were last year. But we'll see how it goes down the stretch, bro. But, so anything else, Rob, do you want to bring up before we head out, bro?
I think the only thing is just, I mentioned it earlier, but the work of the front office and coaching staff really cannot be underestimated in terms of Brad Stevens. Again, at the time, we all thought that those free agent signings, again, we were limited with what we could do in terms of money. But, I looked at Josh Minot and I was like, who? Like, no disrespect to him, but I didn't know who he was. And you kind of like, you're looking at being like, all right, Luka Garza, again, not really done anything. Like, what does he sort of bring? Like, how does it look? And it just wasn't, drafting Ugo. It was like, never heard of this kid. Didn't know what you like. But I should have known to trust Brad Stevens. In Brad we trust. He's done really good work. Also, the way he's managed to now get the Celtics out of the luxury tax for this year and potentially to now start resetting the repeater tax is a masterstroke in financial cap management. They've fully thought it out, and they've worked out on how we can now get by until the end of the season to sign players, and therefore dodge the luxury tax, I think, by about $8,000.
Wow.
I think that is what the Celtics, if we can manage our roster enough, we will dodge the luxury tax this year by $8,000. I think we then have to avoid the luxury tax next year.
Yeah.
To then reset the repeater tax, which will then make all the restrictions of the new collective bargaining, well, not the new, but the current collective bargaining agreement, free agent signings and whatnot, it reduces all of them. So, what he's been able to give Joe Mazzulla and the coaching staff in terms of guys that fit into the locker room, fit into the culture, and, they've been able to... the biggest thing from Boston this year is they've extracted the max out of everyone. There is no one you can look to on that roster and say they haven't got enough out of them. The only guy you really could say is Chris Boucher. That just did not work in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And then we traded Chris Boucher away, and we're going to get under the luxury tax because of it. So, it's just, the front office did a really good job of scouting people at the time and bringing guys in that worked for the roster and the environment. And then Joe Mazzulla and his coaching staff have worked absolute wonders in terms of getting the most out of people, creating ways to win, finding new ways to win. Because, Joe Mazzulla, his first 2 years, was the guy who just tells his people to shoot threes all the time.
Yeah, that was a good experience, wasn't it?
Yeah, the guy, and there was all the records of, when the Celtics shoot this amount from three, they win every game, but when they only attempt this amount, whatever. The guy can now win without a stretch five. He doesn't have a stretch five. He's now got it now with Vucevic, but for the last of the season, hasn't had a stretch five, which is what he's always had. There'll always be something. There's always, as I mentioned, there's always been something that opposition to Mazzulla will always bring up of, can't do this, can't do that, can't do the other, needs this, needs that, needs the other. You can make this argument for every single person who's won anything in their life. Like, I just appreciate the fact that the guy's found another way to win. And he's done it without his best. He's done it without his best player for the entire season. He's done it with guys that no one really knew about, and with all the explanations against him. Like, it's just been a really good effort from everyone on the coaching staff this year, which I hope they're around for next year. I don't know how many head coaching jobs are going to open up around the NBA this year. I doubt it'll be anything like the NFL, where a third of the league just decided, we're going to fire our head coach because we can. But I think, we had it. And I'm also surprised that a few more didn't go to Charlotte with Charles Lee. I thought a load more assistants would have gone with Charles Lee to the Hornets. But, if there are going to be head coaching vacancies this offseason, I imagine there'll be a fair few Celtics assistants up for those. So, this is what the other lesser talked about side of success in sports is that when you have constant success, people want to copy you, and therefore, how do they copy you? It starts with your coaching staff. If you can nick the coaching staff and the trainers and the video assistants and whatnot, maybe get some ex-players from there that can help implement your vision. It all just keeps going around. So Boston have always had to have a success plan ready for when coaches have had to leave, because they've been, offered better opportunities to be because normally they're lead assistant to get to be a head coach. So. And that's the only thing I've really got to add, is that though the front office and the coaching staff have done such good jobs this year to put us in really good position to the fact where we could compete for a championship. Who the fuck would have said that at the start of the year? The Celtics would be championship contenders or be comfortably in the playoffs, be a top 4 seed, come to be a top 2 seed. Then you could be the 1 seed. No one would have predicted that. So those guys, it's a whole organizational effort of, not just Jaylen Brown, not Derek White, not just the players, but the coaching staff putting in positions, the front office putting themselves in positions. And I'm just really excited to how the season's going to end. Like we talked about at length, Tatum could be back within 2 weeks. Playoffs are coming up. The best time of the year for the NBA is when the playoffs are on and storylines start to develop. It's all looking good for another Celtics big run. And then if it's not a championship or it's not conference finals, we weren't meant to be there anyway. We were not meant to be there anyway, and we still got there. So, we Dutch a luxury tax, which people will come to realize in the future just how big that is. So much more now options open up in free agency for the Celtics, who, again, next year can go into, we got Jayson Tatum back. Jaylen Brown's just coming off an incredible season. We've got Derek White. Peyton Pritchard's on the most team-friendly contract in the NBA. You can quote me on that, and no one can beat it. Guys making $6 million a year to produce output of $25 million.
To be a starting point guard in the league.
Yeah, he's now moved back to the bench, but the guys, if he was doing this, for any other team on a contract year, they'd be giving him $25 million easily. And the guy's doing it for 7, maybe not even that. So, Boston are in a really good position, not only for the rest of the season, but then going into the off season and free agency. And like everyone knows, Boston isn't exactly, it's not a small market town. Free agents are always going to want to come to Boston. And when you've got the lure of 2 franchise players in Tatum and Brown, a really good head coach in Mazzulla, and a good front office led by Brad Stevens, I'm not sure how strong free agency class is this year. I'm not sure there's that many sort of incredible names out there of guys who could be in the open market. because all the guys that could have got massive player options that you're kind of stupid to turn down. Really, I think Zach LaVine's got a player option for 60 mil.
Oh my God.
Chicago, what were you doing?
Ouch. Ouch.
So I'm not entirely sure how free agency is looking in terms of top tier free agents out there. Celtics won't be picking that high in the draft again anyway, but Brad Stevens probably knows who he's picking already, or whatever pick number of the 20s he's got. We might not even have our first round pick this year. I don't even know. It might have been in the Derek White trade that he made with the Spurs. I know the 2028 one is got the Spurs.
Yeah.
But Boston are now just in a really good position for the remainder of the season, free agency, and going into next season. Due to, like you say, the young guys. Celtics could legitimately run it back and just add Tatum and it'd still be just as good. But they're now going to have a chance in free agency to add some really good people. Maybe it's Vucevic coming back on a team-friendly deal. Maybe it's Anthony Simons coming back on a team-friendly deal. If we need another bench presence, they've got options. The biggest thing is Neemias Queta needs a contract extension because he is playing incredibly well this year, and next year is his contract year. If that is my one wish for free agency, I would love Brad Stevens to get Queta tied down to a contract extension. I don't think you should really mess around with once a guy's proven to you what he is. I think you just lock him up, and I think Queta needs that now.
Absolutely, mate. Like you say, to be able to shed that much salary and get under the luxury tax and to still contend as well, like you say, it comes from the top down, doesn't it? It's a team effort. It's not just down to one person. It's a team full of people, isn't it? And that's the dream, really, to still contend, even though you've drastically reduced your salary cap and to do all that, and you're just about to get a previous top 5 MVP caliber guy who's about to come back. I mean, it's all maybe even falling nicely into place for you, Rob. Who knows?
I will say, if this ends up with Banner 19, I think there will be some incredible conversations to be had about this team. And I will be at the forefront of all of them. Bring them on. Bring them on. And that's why we love sport, innit? That's why we love sport.
Absolutely. Well, if you want to come back and talk about it, Rob, you know where to come, bro. So
trust me, mate. You hit me up this time. If there is a Larry O'Brien trophy in the Celtics organization, I will be in your DM straight away. Be like, podcast when?
Yeah, time and date. I will be there.
Time and date. I will have my full merch on. We will be there. We will be there.
Absolutely, man. But thanks a lot for coming on, Rob. It's a pleasure to have you on again, dude. Talking some Celtics basketball. So maybe we'll have you on again a bit further down the line. Maybe when the playoffs are on. I'm sure. I know you're a busy man, but a pleasure to have you on as always, mate. And you're more than welcome to come back to the Shooters Lounge, bro. So thank you very much for coming on again, dude.
Thanks, man, for having me. Appreciate it.
So, do you want to let people know where they can follow you, bro, on the socials before we head out?
My main one is still Twitter. It's RobRush02. I don't really post an awful lot about the about stuff anymore due to the nature of the site, but I do. It's where I'm most sort of in the loop with stuff. And yeah, you're more than welcome to come and follow me on there. And always good to meet fellow NBA fans that are based here in the UK. And we were talking about this before we got on the pod, that it's still such an untapped market of fans out here that it's always great. If anyone wants to chat, and no doubt the playoffs will be great again this year, like they always are. And yeah, it'd be good to hang out. So yeah, Twitter is still the main one, RobRush02. That's the main place you can find me.
Sound. Thanks very much, Rob. Yeah, go give Rob a follow, guys. I'm sure he'll have no trouble wanting to talk Celtics basketball with you at any time. So go give him a follow. But thanks very much, Rob, for coming on again. So I'm Matt at PostUp323. So you may be able to follow us on the socials, guys, at Shooters Lounge 3. Or if you want to click on the QR code, if you're watching the video, QR code in the corner, which will take you to all the links to the socials and where you can view the podcast, which will be available on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts, guys. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be back again with another episode. who knows who's going to be? I don't even know yet. So we'll see who we can rustle up for the next episode. But thanks everybody for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you again very soon.